Hey, what's up, blues fans? This is John with the Blues Guitar Institute, and this is your Tuesday Blues Lesson 14. So first off, let me tell you that I know that the last couple of lessons we've been diving back into that G country finger picking thing, but I want to take a quick side detour and go through a lick like this. And the main reason is that I'm still working really hard on a super cool country picking progression. I think you're going to dig it, but anyway, just making sure that I got this thing nailed down before we film a lesson on it. So anyway, that is coming soon, so stay tuned. But this lesson actually came from an email request from Jim. And Jim asked if he could get, some funky bass licks, so licks that were happening on the 6th string, the 5th string, and the 4th string. And I happened to be jamming around just me and the guitar a little bit ago, and this thing came out, so I wanted to share it with you. So big shout out to Jim for bringing this up, because I think it just put the idea right in my head, and it just kind of came out. So I wanted to share it with you guys. Okay, so before I get into the actual note for note thing, I want to point out one quick thing. And that is, if you hang around BGI a lot, you know that I'm a big finger picking guy. I rarely use a thumb pick even, and almost never use a flat pick. But for this particular lick and groove, it just felt right to get some attack on the string. So I am putting on a thumb pick, but you could just as well use a flat pick here. And of course, you can absolutely thump this out with your thumb without any pick. But this is what I'm using for this lesson. So with that out of the way, let's go on and talk about the actual groove that I'm establishing here. I've got an A power chord fretted up, and that's at the 5th and 7th fret on the 6th and 5th string, just like this. And I've got my palm on my picking hand down near the bridge, so I've got this nice muted sound, and I'm chugging along this driving shuffle pattern. Sounds like this. And so that's sort of the underlying thing behind this lick. And then when the time rolls around, I'm going to break into this lick that borrows very heavily. I mean, the entire thing is really in the A blues scale. So let's take a look at the lick. So now, walking through those notes kind of slowly, what we're going to do is start out by striking the 5th fret 6th string, and then reach up with your pinky. I use my pinky. I guess you could use your ring finger, but reach up to the 8th fret, and then hit the 5th fret on the 5th string, and then the 7th fret 5th string, and then you're going to hammer on from the 5th to the 6th fret on the 5th string. And that's where we get a little funky right there when we throw this flat 5th note here into the place, into place, because that's the blue note. Really gives the blues scale its character. So anyway, so here are the notes. We've got on the 6th string 5-8, on the 5th string 5-7, and then 5 hammer on 6. And then we're going to go back to the 5th string, 5th fret. And then here's where things get a little tricky. You're going to reach up with your pinky back to the 6th string on the 8th fret. Then you're going to pull off to the 5th fret, like that. So that pull off, I'm striking when I'm on the 8th fret, and then I'm picking my pinky up with enough force that you still hear what's under the pull off, which is at the 5th fret on the 6th string. All right. So the thing is, the lick doesn't stop there though. We're going to do that pull off, and immediately we're going to slide back with our index finger to the 3rd fret. And this is where it's really cool, because so far we've just been in this, box 1 type pentatonic space, but now we've shifted back, at least for a moment, into box 5, and there's just something so cool, funky, and bluesy about jumping below the root. When I say the root, this A note seems to be the sort of center tone of this lick, because we're dealing with A, and we've been chugging along with this thing here. This note is very, very prominent. So there's something so cool about sliding down below it and coming back up to it, and that's one thing that this lick does. So keep a lick like this in your back pocket, because this is a super cool way to slide into a different position. So let's get back to the lick. We're doing this, so we're up to that point, and then now you're kind of in this box 5 position. So I'm going to hit my ring finger is going to come down on the 5th fret of the 6th string, and then 5th string, 3rd fret, and then back to the 5th fret, 6th string, and then back to the 3rd fret, and then I can slide back up into place with my index finger, and then I'm right here at home base, ready to chug out that rhythm. So let's walk through the notes one by one a little slowly. Okay, so there's no doubt about it, the trickiest piece of this, I guess there are 2 things: keeping that groove going and then bouncing in and out of that lick. So this will be really good practice for you on the guitar, just to get used to tossing in a quick lick and coming right back to the rhythm. But then also really focus on this pull off and slide combination. That's something that's a little tricky to get going. And that's what it sounds like by itself up to tempo. But work on that and make sure that you can hear each of those notes. You don't want anything too pronounced, because this is kind of a slurring of the notes technique, but you should be able to get an idea that these are the notes involved. Alright, so that part of the lick might be where you'll hit the most trouble spots, but keep working at it and really work on getting a really good sounding note from that first pull off, because if you don't, then that slide is just going to fade out of and you're not going to be able to hear it much at all. So anyway, give that some practice, and hopefully you'll get this lick under your fingers. Alright, so there you have it. There's lesson 14. It's just a really cool, funky lick that takes place really entirely in the A blues scale, and it's working the 6th and the 5th strings, so it's definitely tapping those lower registers. But again, I just want to highlight the biggest thing to me about this is I guess there are 2 things. One, keeping that groove going while jumping in and out of a lick. That is so important to be able to do it. Just when you nail that, you know you've got this real sense of rhythm. So I encourage you to fire up a metronome and work on that shuffle groove, chugging along that A chord, and then throw that lick in there and then jump back in and see if you can do it in time. That's a real test of how well you know the lick. And then secondly, this part is, really taking place around the home base that we all know and love, box 1 of your pentatonic scale. But the coolest thing is that it's got a really cool shift back down into box 5. And this is one of my favorite ways to break out of box 1, is to do it on the 6th and the 5th string. So those are the two things I'd really love for you to focus on when you're getting this lick down. Just to reiterate, jumping in and out of a lick, and then also using this as a technique to get you out of box 1 and down into box 5. So all right, so there we go. Listen, Jim, I want to say thanks again for putting this thought in my head. I guess this thing needed to come out, but everybody stay tuned as we hit lesson 15. We're going to pull together that G and C and D chord of the country blues, and working on something big there. So I hope you're really going to like it. It's super challenging for your finger picking. So hope you're looking forward to that one. I'll see you in that one next week. So until then, this is your Tuesday Blues. Take care.